I first came to Korea in 1992 as a young captain and did several different exercises and have watched it. Change is the only constant. So different things come in. We have new leaders come in with new ideas, and ways to get at things. Where we might be doing something in one domain, just in that one domain, and then we bring it and say, hey, are we at the level where we can bring it in at the bigger exercises? So I think there's this evolution that will always continue. I'm not going to get into the specifics of the scenario, but I will tell you that we're watching what's going on around the world, and given the experience of the service members, the fight's going to be combined, which means it's going to be multi-country. It's going to be joint, which means it's going to be Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's going to be interagency. It's going to involve the government in this scenario because it's the Freedom Shield, not Ultra Freedom Shield. We role-play government players, and it's going to be multi-domain. And so we're looking at all the different threats that threaten the peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula, or specifically South Korea. The exercise, like all our exercises, are defensive in nature. Our job, I wear three hats: United Nations Command, Combined Forces Command, and U.S. Forces Korea. The United Nations Command focuses on maintaining the armistice, so reacting to incidents, crises, etc., and trying to return things back to armistice so that our diplomats, our political leaders can work through to a diplomatic solution. We are a means to an end, not an end to itself. So our job is to buy time and space for decision making. When you walk on the Ronald Reagan, it talks about peace through strength, and that's kind of been our focus. To me, provocations is too broad a term, or I think what we're trying to talk about is gray zone activities. Military's trained. The inherent right of self-defense never goes away. So if there's an actual, if you're threatened, our service members clearly need to be trained to react properly. I think the greatest crime that commanders can commit is to commit untrained service members into harm's way. And then I think, a lot of the focus of the exercises is how to think, not what to think. And so quickly assessing the situation, making a decision on the spot. It's clear what the President and the Minister of Defense have said about react and then report. And so our job as commanders, as leaders, is to make sure that they are trained and ready to do that. What it's called, I'll leave that up to the politicians. I'll leave it up to the history writers and the reporters on what. To me, these are gray zone activities. Military's trained, and we're seeing that every single day. We're training. We are training in all the domains every single day. It's not provocative. It is about readiness. Readiness is perishable, and we have to train. We have to be ready for any threat that may evolve. I've always thought that we have to, do things live, virtual, and constructive. This exercise is predominantly virtual, which means computer simulated, but we've added additional live portions to that. Computer simulation only gives us part of the physics, right, of the battlefield geometry that's needed. Going out and saying that it's going to take me X number of time to drive from point A to point B, to physically go do that, and to have soldiers or sailors. When a commander says sail from here to here, in the game we can do it very quickly. But they need to understand the physics of that, what it really takes, the science of this business. And so, with the lifting of COVID restrictions, that has allowed us, but I think we were still doing some training at the lower levels with COVID. What we're really trying to do now is link it so that commanders get a good feel for it, and it's not just a readiness statement that's based on a computer simulation, but really trying to take a holistic approach to the readiness. Progress here in Korea is kind of a double-edged sword, right? With some of our training areas being shrunk and et cetera. So getting off the pen is equally important. Using Talisman Sabre, Bala-Catan, Cobra Gold, the phenomenal going up to Red Flag, Alaska, that gives us those training spaces, but we still have to train in the conditions here in the Republic of Korea.